Have you ever, will you ever, non-repeatable by this chance? Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I humbly apologize for all the technical difficulties we sort of experienced for the evening. Should have had the stream on and going about 20 minutes ago, but then we struggled to get everything up and running. Back into business. I am actually still finding my feet, trying to figure out where is what, who is who in the zoo. This is our race conditions tonight. GT4's hosted by Logistical Nightmare Racing, bringing you our first season in a GT4 class. Again, we've got 13 drivers up for grabs. They are doing the best they can. 47 minutes of racing still on the clock. We have missed the first 13 minutes, but we are still at it. So, welcome to those on the stream. And again, for those that have been sitting and waiting here for 20 minutes, I mean, thank you for your patience and your kind help and assistance. As we watch the boys racing, that is Ethan on his back end, trying to fight a fight with a Mercedes-Benz side-by-side going down to corner 1 in GT4 class racing. Wet is wet in Donington Park. I don't know about you all, but it is what it is. It's happening. Life is real. Things are real. Man, are we up and running? Not even 100% sure how everything works, where everything works. If my actual encoder has actually worked. But I'm doing the best I can on the conditions we have. Thankfully, there's some good commentating, yeah? I mean, I'm not the best of the best of the best, but let's kick it off. Looking at Anthony Wilson in the Porsche. So it seems like our GT4 championship is dominated by the Porsche GT4's. Look at them boys. Top 6 on the grid. Like, first to 6 is all Porsche, followed by a Merc. Then we have an Aston, a Beamer, Janetta, another Merc, followed by one Chevy and one Audi. So we've gone from creating a GT4 championship to evolving into a front-running Porsche Cup. Never have I ever thought to see so many people in the Porsche Cup on GT4s. This has to be one of the better cars that they either like or enjoy or is suited for it. Big ups to the boys on the stream, who is on the stream, and again, we humbly apologize for all the technical difficulties we have had today. Hasn't gone as expected. Everyone was kind of hoping that it would be a smooth transition. We would have had the number one, I would call the number one commentator for Simracing, Mr. Alan Patterson. But again, when things go south, it really goes south. Back at the racing, let me just focus on the racing. Paul Venter there with a Chevy. Now again, Chevy versus the Yellow Banana. Paul is very known as a driver that loves to drive his Bentley. He's gone for the Chevrolet in a GT4, which some have said is the Bentley of GT4s. Looking good though, one of my favorite cars. He is fighting in 10th position with T. Ferrara closely behind him in the Merc, and then we have Charles in 12th position in a BMW. A close battle here between 10, 11 and 12, coming down one of the straights just before the final corner what we have at the start finish line. Getting some lovely views here with the GT4s. Listen to that noise. So can you believe it? To kick off our season 1 GT4 race, obviously we only have 13 guys here because not a lot of people love GT4's. We threw in a combination of Donington Park, made it wet because have you ever seen a sunny rain or sunny day in the UK? Never have I ever. Always wet, always cloudy, makes it for interesting racing. Got some uneven cars here, aka the GT4 pack, in one of the worst conditions. As you can see how that Chevy slides, getting exit out of the corner. Coming down Starkey Straight, heading into the S's. Pick your brake markers perfect. Cut a little, not too much. And then get back on the throttle. As Ferrara is chasing down. Heavily hunted down by that BMW. Fastest boy on the track at the moment, I believe, is Beddington Smith. That's just me looking at the liberties, conditions. Hunted down AMG with a BMW. Looking at the leader of the pack, Ryan Beddington Smith. Came in with a big bang in the GT3 class, however. Now competing in our GT4 series. And he's a man on his own territory. 12 seconds adrift from any individual in close proximity to him. Now that is a big gap to deal with. I don't believe anyone's going to capture him. Again, with a wet race, these boys are needed to do a pit stop and a tire change. So quite a big gap there, and I would say a suitable place for this man to potentially win this race. Then we have Kyle van der Baar. Good to see him back in the racing seat. Currently in second place, being chased down by Niall Billion in his GT4. Also a Porsche. Few seconds adrift in between these individuals. Based on telemetries and delta, we're looking at about 4 seconds from them. He then has a 7-second buffer towards Anthony Wilson, currently in 4th position.
Pit window is open.
Pit windows has just opened. Hi Pierre. Thank you for coming here though. Welcome. Apologies for the long wait and apologies for the troubles and challenges. It's not the guy on the mic that you would have expected this evening. But as we all have technical difficulties, anyone that lives around the PC world know that things will happen. Certain things will go to plan. And then one of those 5-second moments, everything just goes horribly south. This is what we've had this evening. Technical difficulties. One of the best commentators in South Africa just couldn't make it. Humbly apologize for the massive delay from our end. But we got racing. GT4 on stream. 13 boys running it hard. Thank you for that lovely comment, man. I do the best I can based on the limited knowledge I have. Looking down the straight. Into Red Gate. And some of these UK corner names are so like horrible. I mean, this is into Craner Curve, followed by the old hairpin, and then we're going uphill from Starkey's Bridge into McLean's, and then Copy. Lovely names. I honestly don't know who came up with these names, but it is what it is. We are where we are. A wet GT4 race at Logistical Nightmare. Our first GT4 championship. Again, anyone's still welcome to come and join the season. We've got a couple of spots open there. This is a lovely championship. We're putting it out there. It's one of those things that not a lot of individuals love to drive. Again, probably not the best circumstances, seeing that it is so wet. See how these boys are struggling on track. But then again, the front back is predominantly dominated by the Porsche boys. Porsche has come to the table and smashed it out of the ballpark. The closest following guy that we can have is Neil Greening here in an Aston Martin, which from a GT3 kind of racing point is a very dominating car. See if I can give you guys a bit of a variety here. That's Paul Venter in the beautiful Chevy, and again, a car that I thoroughly love at this moment. Now, from his base conditions, we're looking at the mid to low 146s in the condition it is. Based on where Paul is at the moment, started at 8th place from a qualifying standpoint, has lost one position, trying to gain that up, so he is climbing the ladder slowly but surely, but he's got a lot of work to do because he is a significant amount of time behind the individual in front of him. Now again, significant sounds massive when we talk in the range of about 8 seconds of a gap, but anything can happen. Back to the top 3 boys. Niall Bullion and his Porsche. He is hunting down Kyle van der Berg. And from a qualifying standpoint of view, Kyle seems to have qualified as in 3rd position. Just look how wet that is. Unbelievably wet. Soaking. That Porsche tries to cut way too much curb coming down there. Needs to be cool, calm and collective. He definitely seems to be very hungry for that 2nd place, so competition is tough in the top 3. Coming up to a back marker, and that's a Mercedes-Benz. Now whether that be Dave Young or T. Ferreira, I'm not 100% sure. It does look like Dave Young in the Mercedes there. Now again, Dave Young could have pitted already. These boys have to do a mandatory pit stop. Sketchy. Sketchy is an underlying condition there. I think sketchy is not that bad. Quintus slamming it out there, sketchy condition. I think it's beautiful. This is proper UK conditions. Can't get better than this. Just cannot. When's the last time you've seen sunny days in the UK? Doesn't happen. Back to racing conditions. Robson hunting down 5th place, but he is being chased down by an Aston. In between him and the Aston seems like an Audi there. And that definitely is an Audi. That is Charles Stein in between Porsche and Audi. Robson coming into the pits, of course. Schalstein, not, he stayed out. Greening also in the pits. Individuals who is fighting for position, both of them decided to go pit on the same time frame. That is Kel van der Berg leaving the pits at the moment. Pit crew very confused. Doesn't seem to understand why both of these individuals came in at the same time. Back onto the leader. Berry's driving these phenomenal colors that he's probably known for. Never have I ever seen berries in a different color besides the red and black. Heading down Weathercroft Straight as the two boys exit out of the pits there. That's going to bring some traffic to Berries when he does catch up with them. I'm going to quickly go and have a look where those boys came out. Ooh, they are way closer than what they were before they started to get into the pits. Competition is going to be very tough now. It's the one who gets these tires faster warmed up, ready for track position and ready to challenge. And I somehow have the feeling that Aston will have better tires than what the Porsche will in the shortest amount of time frame. Ferrara, they're trying to still chase down Phil Venter. Here we have Merc versus Chevy. That looks like Paul is going into the pits. And back onto the battle here between these guys. Ooh, Neil there looking on the inside. Robson closing the door a bit. Does seem like that Aston's gonna have a better run down there. Is Robson gonna go defense? No, stays on the wider line. Goes deep into the corner. That's gonna compromise his exit and down the straight speed. Aston all over the place. Perry's right behind them, knowing that these boys are battling. Perry's making his way through, cutting through the traffic. Definitely doesn't want to lose his momentum and time frame up. Instantly in between the two individuals that is battling there for position, puts his nose in, sticks it in and goes like, sorry boys, I have a championship to win here. Cheeky, is he not?
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
Now as we watch that unfold, Robson just keeps his momentum, stays ahead of Perez though. Not 100% sure if that is the wisest decision by far, but it does seem like he's better off the pace than what Neil Greening is, keeping the gap and momentum between them. He's got to give way at some point. You can't hold the leader behind you. Opens up, goes wide into the corner. That's very wide. Just look how close that Aston came. Battle still continues here. These guys are pretty much the closest battle we have on track at the moment. Everyone else is fairly spread out. Plenty of individuals in the pits though. Wilson's in the pits. Kale is in the pits. Ooh, Wilson. That's a sliding catch that he did there. Holy smoke-a-moly. I believe I just said that on stream. How he caught that is unknown to me. Sorry about that. Slight glitch in the system. I was sort of checking out the replay system. Something I probably should have done beforehand. Lee Bullion, yellow. He has gone off the track. Now, that is going to compromise him battling for positions. He's got Ethan there right behind him. Whether that is for position or if that is just where he has placed, seeing that he has spun off, that's to be viewed, as all the telemetries will update hopefully soon enough. From the looks of this, this is another potential battle on track. So with Lee having a massive spin there, he now has Ethan right on his tail, battling for position. At long last, we have a bit of a mix in the top, boys. So no more a full dominant Porsche domination here. Kyle has dropped down all the way to 9th position. Ooh, Anthony Wilson, stop-go penalty, 30 seconds. That has gonna hurt him by far. Probably not as much, but as we see, there she goes. Both these boys in the pits. I somehow assume that Lee is going to fix whatever damages occurred at that spun off. For Ethan, this is probably a potential pit stop for him. Robson, on the other hand, is still keeping Greening at bay. Doesn't look like that Aston can do much versus the Porsche. Porsche is a very dominant car on this track. As the ACC gods would say, time to nerf the GT4 Porsche. Looking at the views from the Mercedes-Benz. Ooh, way too deep for that Merc. Tough conditions for these boys. I really do wonder, even if after we've started off the round one, will we ever see other individuals coming back next week or in 2 weeks' time racing our second race on the GT4 platform? Not 100% sure, but again, anything goes. For anyone that's really keen on joining us, again, all are welcome. We're running 2 championships at the moment. Oh, let me not talk about championships. We see Neil Greening very closely to Robson. He's definitely made up some time in that lap. Not so sure if Robson made a mistake again, but he is under immense pressure at the moment. Trainer curves is where it counts, it seems. The Porsche seems to have an upper leg versus the Aston coming through these high speed corners. Good exit there. Here's us looking at Paul Venter from a lovely helicam view as he entered into Red Gate on his way down through to Grainer. Action pack all over. Robson made a bit of a gap there, it seems. It does seem like the Porsche's got a better advantage into sector 2, where we have the fast speeding corners. Doesn't seem to enjoy the slow moving corners, which is where the Aston seems to dominate quite a bit more. So I would guess like sector 1, sector 2 time frames that the Aston is far better in what the Porsche is, but the dominance of the Porsche in sector 2 in those fast corners is just astonishing. Again, it also depends on how much mechanical grip you've actually enforced the car. I mean, versus the roll, camber, toe, and again the new word association used on ACC is toe. Put as much as you can to get as much speed as possible, which fundamentally doesn't make zero sense. Hopefully soon we're going to see some fixes coming in from the developers at ACC, sorting that problem out. Again, looking at the Porsche, just dominant in sector 2. Now whether that be a driver condition whereby Robson feels so much more comfortable in the high speed corners than what Greening is, but he certainly creates that amount of gap every single time in sector 2, and then coming into the final sector, this is where the Aston seems to be dominant. Again, whether that be the setup or the car or the driver, that would be a good question. But most certainly this is where the race is from a track condition point of view. 20 minutes of racing left. Look at that line the Aston takes versus the Porsche. Wilson still in the pits, so 2 individuals in pits. Unfortunate that we had so very few people coming in. Hopefully next week we'll have a bit of guys on track. Again, GT4's not the most favorable cars in ACC. I don't think GT4's is the most favorable car choice in any sim racing community. Definitely one of those packs where people tend to avoid doing any racing on. Now, for the remainder of our season, which is operated on a bi-weekly Tuesday night here at Logistical Nightmares, round 2 will be Brands Hatch, round 3 will be Misano, round 4 will be Nürburgring, then we've got round 5 at Zandvoort, and then we're going to finish it off this season at Ultim Park, on round 6. Then if you're really not into GT4's, we also have a GT3 championship alternating every Tuesday night. Next week we are going back to Brands Hatch. Barcelona. One of the few tracks that everyone do racing on, but again, some like it, some don't. Current participation there is quite heavy. Again, lots of guys love the GT3 pack, so we'll see plenty of racing there. We'll do the same as what we do here. Live stewarding, live commentating, good racing, hopefully for those that love to watch racing. And thank you for all your support watching on stream. And I mean kind of everyone that has actually said something on chat. So I've got Pierre, and I've got Quintus, and whoever else is watching. Thank you, it's humbly appreciated. More battles here on track as we got Lee and Kale. Now that does look like Kale has potentially lost a position there to Lee. Yep, it is. Deltas have been corrected. Lee has made a move on Kale. Ooh, as Lee goes very deep onto the grass, comes back in though. He's not going to have sufficient momentum to cover that. Flashes the lights out of frustration, knowingly that he has been deliberately slowed down by Lee. A very angry driver there, but he thinks he could have had that position purely based on where Lee came out off the grass, off track, onto track, stuck his rear end in front of that nose, still managed to maintain the position. Now simultaneously to that, car number 9, Charles, is chasing down Kale, so there's a 3-way battle ongoing here for top 10 position. Charles seems to be the only brave man going for the BMW GT4. Looking back at Dave. Oh, big cut there over the grasses as he heads into those corners. Back into the competition here between Lee and Kale. And then of course Charles in that BMW. Just looking at the amount of water coming at the rear end. Ooh, Kale. Upset Porsche there. Robson and Greening. I don't know where to watch anymore. This is just all over the show. We got a 3-way battle there at the back for 7th, 8th and 9th position. And then we got a 2-way battle here. Still ongoing for the last couple of minutes now. Robson and Greening. Now again, if Robson takes this, I believe this will be his first podium at Logistical Nightmare. Perez, however, has won a championship in the GT3s. He seems to be dominating the GT4s as we stand. My question is anyone out there being or willing enough to battle him on GT4s? Fight for that championship. Then of course we have Neil there. There in the background we got Paul. He has spun out. He's sitting on the grass. He's losing more positions than what he gained. Charles has managed to pass Kyle. I don't know exactly where that happened, but somehow that BMW's got a bit more speed than what that Porsche is. I do wonder whether Kyle has got a bit of a problem. Let's have a look and see what he does. If we look at it from a time stand point of view, Kyle is definitely slower versus everyone ahead of him. So his times at the moment is about 4 seconds slower than the front pack. Charles just managed a 144.8 there versus what Kyle did at a 148.4. So that is a big difference. Whether that now is a error in the track or whether he made a mistake, yet to determine. In all fairness, it does seem like he picked up his delta a lot. Far more quicker than what he was on the previous lap. Definitely do suspect that he made a big mistake there. But now he's trying to regain his position. Ooh, off the track again. Looking at the BMW. Oh, gotta get there. Oh, in the corner of my eye. Just focus on this side-by-side action by these two individuals, Neil and Robson, fighting it out. This is for podium position. Not sure that Robson is going to be very happy with that. Definitely feels like he's got the better pace in the second sector. But if that Aston can keep him behind him, he might just be in a position to pull away in the final few sectors along with the first one. Plenty of racing ongoing, 12 minutes of racing still left. Still wet, still raining. Welcome to the UK. I got it down to anyone asking a question out there, like seriously. Money on the table, who do you think is going to have this? Do you reckon Robson's going to come in and take his position back that he has been dominating for most of the race though? Again, Neil Greening splitting the Porsche domination at the front of the pack. Finally, but Panda going Robson for podium. I'm not 100% sure, man. This is going to get quite interesting. I still reckon because the Aston is so much better in Sector 1 and Sector 3, and again, whether that is the Aston or the driver or the setup, that is still to be determined. But as you can see, the first sector and the last one in the slow corners, that Aston just seems to get away. The question now stands, can Robson capitalize that on the middle sector? Can he do faster speeds to gain momentum? The other alternative, and again, just thinking out loud, was the speed of the Aston compromised by the spray of the rain? Again, visibility comes to play. Things like that one has to think and consider. I didn't consider it while I was looking at it, but now that I see it, Greening has made a massive leapfrog gap there. The difference at this moment is a 2-second deficit. That is big. Let's go look at that Porsche. See what he sees from a spray point. Yeah, got to admit, being behind a following car is not ideal. You could see the conditions there from Robson's window, and that is just looking at it from a passenger point of view. Visibility is excruciatingly tricky. That is probably why that Aston is now in a position to pull away from him, purely because he's got better visibility. If I was a betting man, I would think that is what it is there at the moment. More battles as we go along. And what has happened to the boys in 6th and 7th? Lee versus Shaw. A slight gap here now in between these two boys, so the Porsches managed to pull away a bit. Shaw has fallen back slightly. Again, not by much, but the margin is there. It doesn't look that far. 2 corners there is about a 4 seconds gap. Kyle has dropped down a lot again. He is now 10 seconds away from that BMW. So where we started at the race, in all fairness, spotting what the boys did, positions gained and suffered, it's kind of all over the place. I think the biggest winner this evening is Neil Greening. So, and that's only because he's made 6 positions from where he started. That would have meant that this man qualified, Neil Greening qualified in 9th place. Worked his way up all the way to 3rd now. Again, potential podium slot. Lee, a man who we're watching at this moment, he qualified in 5th, has lost 1 position though. But again, that is a marginal loss compared to what some of the other individuals have done thus far. Looking back at what I would believe is potentially the driver of the day, that was Neil. Back into Kale. Just look at that water spray. Kale getting back into the 144s now. What a view from a bonnet standpoint, listening to that Porsche going through the fastest corners, and you can hear how hesitant they are. Sorry, just to put their foot on the throttle. And there's not even a proper racing line. Again, you got 13 cars on track, 12 to be technical about it. Not the most favorable conditions. Not the most popular car choices. Probably one of the lower end tracks in an ACC pack. I mean, I don't believe anyone will stand out and go like Donington is a favorite. Like, who out there just on the stream goes like, I love Donington? I'm like, I can hold my hand up. I can honestly tell you, not my favorite track. However, I do love Donington when it is wet. So, less than 5 minutes of racing on the table. Wet, wet, wet Donington. Keeping an eye on the back at this moment. Gonna see where we have close battles now. In all fairness, there's a little battle here at the background in between Wilson and Paul Venter. Would be a bit surprised to believe that this is for position based on the delta and all the lap details I have. Mr. A. Wilson is a lot of laps down to Paul Venter, but from a racing battling point of view, this is nice to watch. Ooh, big twitch there by Paul. And it does look like he loses the position, but I have to be brutally honest that all that is Anthony unlapping himself, and it looks like he went very deep into that corner, off the grass. Not a happy chappy this evening. Oh, so does Paul. All kinds of catastrophe. Hey. Yellow flags, white flag, all over the shore. Ryan Beddington Smith, best and fastest lap of the race thus far with his 142.6. Now that is phenomenally quick though. Charles seems to have a penalty over there. Interesting to know what that would have been for. 5-second penalty given to Charles. Now again, this battle seems to have gained momentum. That brings 7th position up to play for Gale. So if he can stay within 5 seconds of a gap to Charles, that is a free position made up just purely of where they're going to end up. That 5 seconds is going to count against Charles at the end of the race. Therefore, he will potentially lose that position if Gale can manage to stick to him for the next 2 minutes. From the looks of it, it really does look like Gale is very racy though. Looks on the outside. Charles defends very hard, keeps a tight corner coming into the final corner. Gale going on the inside again. Now, racing condition wise, you will probably get the line, but that is close battle racing. Yo. Look how close that Porsche is to this BMW. Charles backs out a bit. Ooh. Tell you, that Charles that make a big mistake. Gale backed out. Gale flashing. Side by side as they go through this corner. That would have been a very bold move as a passing position there. These cars have zero, if not no grip through these high-speed corners with the wet conditions. 40 seconds of racing still left. In all fairness, Gale just has to stay there. He doesn't really have to fight for that position. But these boys are going to race until the end. Charles not wanting to give it away. Gale wanted. Leader is on the final lap, so Barry's at the moment is doing his final stint lap, heading around the track. Currently just past corner 1 into the first fast corners at Grainer curves, and then he's going to head into Old Hairpin. As this battle continues, even with the 5-second deficit of a penalty, Gale flashing. Pure frustration and anger sets in. He feels he's got the pace. He knows he's got the pace. But he just cannot find a spot to make a move. Goes very wide there. Loses lots of momentum, so all that frustration is settling in. You can see that by the time loss he has just occurred there. Back to the race leader. He's on the final few corners of the race. He's going to bring it in from victory. I would say qualify first, race first, win it all. Takes the GT4 round 1 victory into the final Goddard hairpin down the straight.
Leader has finished the race.
Victory by far. Ryan Beddington Smith takes pole, wins it, and Tries to do a couple of spins there. Of course, he's followed down by Neil Billion here, currently in second. Has had a phenomenal race though. From where he stands, Porsche on Porsche, first and second. Ooh, two individuals getting big penalties over there. I don't know what that is. Ooh, big mistake there. Final corner for Nail. Finishes it off in style. Greening, the only man that managed to split the Porsche combo. The cars that were dominating from the word go. When we started the stream, it was Porsche, 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 followed by more Porsches. Top 6, I believe, was all Porsche. Now we at least have an equal split. A bit of Astons, a bit of Mercs, and a BMW in there. Lee, however, with that big penalty. Again, that is Robson in 4th. Finish the final corner here. Dave Young is in the pits. Not 100% sure. 5-second penalty for him though. Don't know what happened to Lee though with that 130-second plus penalty. That to me looks like someone missed a pit stop opportunity. Again, what a race. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Even though we only broadcasted a little bit of it. Apologies to those that did wait. Let me just see if I can get all the details up. So from a qualifying point of view, this is where we started off at the beginning of the race. Ryan qualified with a 43. Race conditions as it stands: Berries, Neil, Robson, Young, Vandenberg, Shaw, Rutter, Lee, and then of course Ferrara finishing up the top 10. Then we have Venter, Wilson and Stein as the final car. Again, anyone that really wants to come and join us, please feel free. We really love to get more GT4 guys on the grid, get them involved. Next week we have Brands Hatch, dry track. It's gonna be epic fun in GT4's. It's gonna be lots of close racing. Sorry, it's not next week, it's the week thereafter. Next week we're gonna do our GT3 Championship round 2 at Barcelona. And then again, we don't just specialize in ACC PC racing. Tomorrow night is our Wednesday night series on console. Feel free to join up there. And then Sunday is our first GT Sport race for this year, season 1, kicking off with a bang at Gran Turismo Sunday night. Do stay tuned, catch us on our social media platforms, and then of course every one of you, thank you for your support and thanks a lot. Apologies again for the delays. Catch you next week, same time, same place, different car, different track.